Hey guys, G here. Welcome back to Luna Geckos. You know what? Today we're going to show you fat tails. But before we get into that, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that's tuned into Luna Live. We've had two of them so far, two great guests, and we have a playlist for our Luna Lives that you can check out. And a special announcement about Luna Live. Starting Wednesday, a new series on Luna Live. Safe space Q&A, where dumb questions are allowed. Because you know, there really are no dumb questions, just dumb answers. But we'll do our best to give you good answers, and we hope that everybody that participates will be able to help answer questions as well. And the purpose is to give a space for everyone from a novice all the way to an advanced keeper and breeder to be able to ask questions, share information, without risk of being bashed or made fun of or marginalized, like so many of those groups and forums that are out there that are just toxic. In addition to the Luna Live Safe Space Q&A, Luna has set up a server on Discord, and there's a safe space channel where the same principles apply. It's a safe space for all of us to share information, ask questions, no matter what the question, without any risk of anyone getting on your case. Hope you check it out. There's a link in the description, and tune in on Wednesday for the first Luna Live Safe Space Q&A. All right, enough of that. You ready for some fat tails? Well, first you got to listen to the intro, and we'll be right back over here on the center table.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey, welcome back. Here we are, a couple fat tails ready to go. But before we show them, I want to talk a little bit about fat tails. This is our third season here at Luna Geckos breeding fat tails. Now they go by several names. You've heard them called AFT, you've heard them called fat tail, fat-tailed, African fat tail, African fat tailed. There's a variety of names. We just like calling them fat tails. Seems to be easier. But the geckos we're going to show today, these females have been breeding since December. Fat tails have a bit of an earlier season than leopard geckos, so some of these girls are already on their 5th, 6th clutch at this point, which is a lot of clutches for a fat tail. And we have found that unlike our leopard geckos, fat tail females really drop a lot of weight during breeding season. So some of these girls are going to look pretty skinny. Don't worry, it happens every season. And as soon as they're done, that weight comes right back on. There are a couple girls that haven't started breeding yet, and you'll see the difference between the girls that are in the middle of breeding and the girls that are just getting ready. I'll point it out to you, but don't worry about it. And for today, I've got my African Fat Tail shirt on, and you all know I suck at scientific names, so I can't say this, I can't spell it, you can look it up. How about care with fat tails? People talk about them, but don't know a whole lot about them. I find that their care and husbandry is essentially the same as leopard geckos, with a couple minor exceptions. They tend to like a little bit more humidity, so you have to spray them a bit more often than you do leopard geckos, and they like it a bit cooler than leopard geckos. So in our racks, we keep our leopard geckos at 92 degrees Fahrenheit on the hot side. And we keep our African fat tails at 90 degrees on their hot side. So only a 2-degree difference, and they seem to do fantastic with that. Other than that, food is your biggest difference. They don't like mealworms. Now I know there are some breeders out there that have been successful and have gotten them to eat mealworms and superworms. We haven't been so lucky. Now there's one or two every year that will eat a couple mealworms, but not as their main diet. They primarily love crickets. And we showed you last week in our Bug Day video how we deal with crickets here at Luna Geckos. Now this season, slightly different than we've done in the past, we're starting our baby fat tails off on small dubia roaches, and we're going to see if we can get them on dubia and crickets instead of just on small crickets and then medium crickets and adult crickets. I'll keep you posted how that goes this season, but we'll show you some bonus babies at the end after we walk you through the adults, because we already have 8 hatchlings out this season. Remember I said they start breeding early. Now they also incubate a bit longer than leopard geckos. We incubate them the exact same way in our sealed deli cups with organic perlite that we walked you through and how to incubate gecko eggs Luna style. And we put them in the hot box incubators at the exact same temperatures that we do leopard geckos. Temperature sex male, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature sex female, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And they take a little bit longer. Let's start with a couple Tangerine Emile females. These girls have been breeding for 3 seasons. Here we go. First up, Tangerine Emile and Tangerine Emile striped. Both females, both great breeders. One of these girls pumped out a bunch of clutches last season. So very prolific girls. Now, one of the things I mentioned is that African Fat Tails females do lose a lot of weight during breeding season. So this girl's down a good bit. Her name's Tammy. We'll put her away. Come on over here. This is June. She's also a Tangerine Emile, but she's striped. Next up is Tango. Tango is our male Tangerine Emile breeder. Now, prior to breeding, these guys were vibrant tangerine color, and they really faded out a lot over the last couple seasons. He is bred for 3 seasons. He's a pretty big boy. The males don't seem to drop as much weight as the females, but they will go on hunger strikes. It's just not as taxing on their body because they don't lay eggs. Next up is Asha. She is a striped Oreo. She has been a fantastic breeder. Now, that tail's pretty skinny. She's already laid 5 clutches this season, and she's due to lay any day now. I hope she's done for the season, but maybe 1 more clutch. Fat tails typically don't lay as many clutches as leopard geckos. They're also a little bit harder to breed. Highly recommend brumation. We brumate starting in October, November. Bring them down a couple degrees a day until we get them down from 90 to about 75 degrees. We leave them there for about 2 weeks, and then we bring them up a couple degrees a day until we get them back to 90. And that entire time that we're bringing them down, letting them brumate, and then bringing them back up, we just make sure they have water. We do not feed them because there's not enough heat for them to be able to metabolize their food. So very important during brumation that you clean them out before you cool them down, and you don't fill them back up until they're back to temperature. Say bye to Asha. Next up is Nabisco. Nabisco is a patternless Oreo female. This is her first season breeding, and you can really see how skinny she got. Look at her tail. She did great though. Pumped out 3 clutches. Pretty sure she's done for the season. She was laying a clutch every 13, 14 days, and it's been about 30 days since her last clutch. She's eating great. She'll fatten right back up in the next couple months and be ready to go for 2022. Next up is one of my favorites. This is Picasso. He is a tangerine whiteout, 100% het Oreo. and 100% het patternless. He's produced some really pretty babies for us. He's a big teddy bear too. Sweet fella. Doesn't he look like a Picasso painting? See, he's still nice and chunky. Next up is Patty. This is a patternless female that has not laid her first clutch. So you can see she hasn't lost any weight yet. She's got that nice big chunky tail. She's gravid, so that first clutch should be coming any day now. This is her second season breeding. Since she's gravid, I don't want to keep her out too long, so let's go ahead and put her away. Say bye to Patty. Next up is a first-time breeding group. Both of these are holdbacks from 2020. This is Diego. He's a patternless male. And this is his girlfriend. She actually doesn't have a name because she was a late holdback and we weren't sure if we were going to sell her or breed her. But I like the dark colors on her, so we decided to put her over here with Diego just to see what we get. She's 100% het patternless. It'll be pretty cool if we can put out some patties that are darker rather than light like Diego. This girl is also a 2020 holdback. We were hoping to breed her this season, but she hasn't grown enough, so she's probably going to have to wait this year out and get in the game next year. Just don't want to breed her this small. Her name's Crazy because when she was a baby, she would hiss and huff and whip her tail at you. Now she's nice and calm. Every once in a while she'll give you a little tail whip. Pretty little girl. Love that blue tail. Go eat, baby. You gotta get bigger. Come on. Next up is another breeding group. Both of these are 2020 holdbacks produced here at Luna Geckos. The male is a tangerine patternless. And the female, she's actually vibrant and beautiful. She's a striped Emile, but she's about to shed, so she looks very dull right now. They've been together all week. Hoping to get some eggs soon. She actually looks like she might be gravid. Let's take a peek. Oh ho ho! Good job. So that was it for our 2021 African Fat Tail breeding groups here at Luna Geckos. We don't have as many fat tails as we do leopard geckos, but we do have some babies. So we'll show you the babies that have already hatched this season in 2021. We have 8 of them already. Let's look at them. You ready for some fat tail babies? What's funny is as big of a sweetheart as the adults are, the babies are usually a little bit crazy. They like to whip their tail and they hiss a little bit. All the babies that are out right now were produced by Asha, the striped Oreo female, or Nabisco, the patternless Oreo female. And they were both paired with Picasso. Looks like these first two, looks like we have a whiteout Oreo and an Oreo, both striped. They are fussy. You hear them? Here's hatchlings 3 and 4. These are from Nabisco. What we're hoping for is a patternless whiteout Oreo. Looks like we have a regular patternless, and that looks like a whiteout patternless there. Their colors change a lot, so we'll have to see as they grow. They're eating great. Look at the poop. Empty dubia bowl too. These are actually clutch mates, but they are hatchling 5 and hatchling 8. 6 and 7 decided to pop out before 8. 8 took its time. Got some loose dubia in there. Cute little stinkers. Here's hatchling 6 and 7. These guys have only been out for a few days, so it doesn't even look like they've started to eat and poop yet. Pretty soon. So there you go. That's the Fat Tails here at Luna Geckos. You know what? Last season we produced 50 baby Fat Tails. So far we have 8 out, about 21, 22 eggs cooking, and eggs still coming. Probably will do about 75, 80 babies this year. We'll see. Pretty excited about it. Well, there we go. Another one in the books. Hope you enjoyed meeting all the Fat Tails today. As always, we really appreciate you tuning in. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, share it with your friends, leave comments, and above all, hit that subscribe and ring that notify bell. Pretty, please? How else are you gonna know when we have new content? Well, you know every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, but what about the stuff during the week? Better hit that bell. Don't forget, our merch is available, lunageckos.shop. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Hope you have a great day. I'm G. We're Luna Geckos. That's Handy Dandy Camera Lady. See ya.
It sound right, boy.